Shalom, shalom, and blessings. I'll let you back in another video. Just coming on real quick. Had a lot on my mind. Got a lot of time to think. Being in deep thought. Driving down this road. Back driving trucks. But I'm looking into a new venture. Is what I'm doing right now. So on the road. But I've been thinking about leadership. Been thinking about management, managing. Things of that nature. And years ago, you know, I used to, especially when I was first in the ministry, straightway. Pastor Dow, you know, he told me, he said, you know, and I would tell him, give him different things that I was up to, that I'm doing. He asked me what I did for work or whatever, and I was just telling him some of the stuff I was going through, and he was just like, you know, everything that you're going through and everything that you're dealing with and all your experiences right now is preparing you for the future. And I was just like, all right, I would shrug my shoulders because I was 26 years old, 27, you know, and I didn't really know what he meant by it. I was just like, all right, whatever. I shrugged my shoulders. And, you know, all these many years later, I'm 38 years old, and I'm looking back on everything and everything that I've been able to accomplish by the power of the Most High. You know, Him leading and guiding me and blessing everything that I literally have touched. And just owe the Most High a whole lot. But anyway, I'm thinking now I'm able to realize and see what he meant by it. Because the background I come from, you know, I played a little bit of sports, but, you know, I didn't go past like high school, nothing like that. But through my life, I used to work in warehouses, and I stepped up and I started working in the industrial field, construction, started working in chemical plants, refineries, worked deep water offshore. Then I got into something called the power distribution field. Worked in high voltage and stuff like that. Traveled a lot, been a lot of places, been to Europe, been all over the United States. I was a grunt on the job. I was crew lead, shift lead. I would be the job manager. I would be supervisor. I would be superintendent, whatever the case may be. I was in all those positions. And you know, through all those experiences, especially even when I was younger, like working in the warehouses, I would, you know, people would come up to me or whatever, and they would be like older guys. And one thing I realized is they would always tell me, like, man, you know, you're a leader. And I was like, all right, man, whatever. And I would just shrug my shoulders, and I was like, all right, whatever. I just let it kind of fly over my head, didn't care, because my focus was me. My focus was just doing what I wanted to do. You know, I'm out in the world just doing my thing, and I just didn't care. I didn't care about dealing with people. I didn't care about managing people. I didn't care about doing all that. And that led me into, once I got done being in the field, working at a high power distribution field, I became an engineer working for a manufacturer. And I would pretty much, I'm still managing. And one time, my supervisor, and I'm getting to a point here, but, you know, the supervisor, you have to grade yourself, right, each year. And so my first year had went by, he's like, all right, you got to grade yourself in different categories. And so I did my best to be as honest as I could. And it was on a scale from 1 to 5, 5 being the greatest, meaning you're excellent, damn near perfect. So I put a number 5 for communication, because I over communicate. That's what I do. And I tend to over communicate with people that are under me, or people that I'm working with, or customers, right? So I put myself as a 5, and he said, you can't be a 5. I said, why? He says, nobody's perfect. I was like, man, I said, I'm pretty damn good at this, you know, to myself. And so he said he gonna give me a 4.95. And I was like, all right, whatever. So for the next 3 years that I worked there, every single year I got a 5 for communication or whatever. And because I will over communicate. I had a laundry list of just reviews really from customers and stuff like that, people I would work with. So fast forward to now, I'm saying what Shep meant by everything that you're going through, all these life experiences that you have. And you can see it in, you know, people like Elder Kabir. You can see it in Pastor Rufus. You can see it in Pastor Mir. You can see it in Elder Brent Crago. Elder Brent Crago has a company, a business, mechanic shop or whatever. You can just point to all these different men that are leaders, and in some shape, fashion, or form, in their background, they either have some sort of discipline, or they've been leading for a long time. And it's just something that really just popped in my mind as I'm going down the road. Then that brings me to the word, because something else that I see with many leaders is they literally shied away from even leading anybody. I'm pretty sure you speak to any leader, what you're going to see is they were just going about their business, doing their own thing. And Pastor Dow, I remember at my first visit there, it was 2011. I stayed there for one whole week. And mind you, back then, Pastor Dow was saying, come and check me out. Come and check me out. And boy, was I checking him out. Meaning, I was just really watching and listening to him to see if this is something I wanted to even get into. He made a video called Truth Part 1, Part 2, talked about giving all, right? And I was just like, I remember asking questions about it, and he wouldn't answer me because it was a foolish and unlearned question at the time, because I didn't really have no understanding or comprehension at the time. But I was willing to do it. I just need to know, from him. Just give me a yes or no. He wouldn't give me a yes or no. And I realize that now, because I do the same thing with others. The same things he used to rebuke me for, I'm rebuking others for now. And I get it. I click every single year. I click to different things because, I'm 20-some years behind Pastor with this. And I understand why he operates the way he operates in certain veins. And sometimes if I don't get something, I give it time. I really don't tell him nothing or ask him anything right away. And giving it enough time, I figure out and I click to why he does things a certain way. Or if I hadn't came to it, I'll ask. So, but it has, some time has to go by. Anyway, so I noticed that these men that are leaders shy away from me. You can even go to the word. Jeremiah wanted his own life, right? He wanted his own life, wanted to be married and all this stuff. He wasn't trying to do anything. He wasn't trying to be this, hell, he even kind of grumbled about, even being in his position that he was in as a prophet. Because he had his own desires, and he saw his life as being pitiful. Then you had, what's his name? Going unto Jonah, going unto Nineveh. He didn't want to do nothing. He even ran. He had to get swallowed up and then spewed out. Then he was willing to go, right? Then you had Moses. Hell, if you read about Moses, he would bring up all kind of excuses of why and how and not wanting to do it and stuff like that. And I remember Moses even saying, I don't speak well. Okay, Aaron will talk. So this is something I'm noticing as I'm sitting here meditating and I'm going about. But then, as you run away from the responsibility of being a head or a leader, or whatever the case may be, and I'm talking about any elderly, even if they're not even over a community. I see it in Elder Becker. I see it in people like Elder Rob. You can see it in, any of the deacons, Deacon Gorman. I see it in Deacon Samuel, Teacher Greg. None of these men have chosen themselves. That's something I noticed. And as the words say, we don't take this by constraint, right? But willingly, you know what I'm saying? The task ahead. And, but like I said, now I look back and I see why. I see why. And then certain decisions that we have to make when things arise, or you have to do any type of counseling for saints and things of that nature. And one thing I can say is, once I actually accepted my role as being a head of an assembly back when I was in Houston, and then an elder, because even though I was the head, I shied away from it. Didn't really want it, even though I was doing it. And even when I became an elder, it was like until I really started assuming my position and taking the bull by the horns, that's when everything took off. When I finally accepted what was laid upon me, when I accepted being the head, then when I accepted being the elder, that's when y'all blessed my hand. It wasn't when I was fighting against it, nothing prospered. But when I accepted it, it prospered. That's something I noticed. So But anyway, I thought I'd share that today. You know, leaders, man, they definitely are chosen. Not necessarily, they're not running to it. They've been chosen. And there's men that look out and see that they're fit for the bill. And they also had a Ruach HaKodesh spirit speaking through them and have the discernment to see, man, you know, he can make a good this, he can make a good that. We can put him in this position, put him in that position. I could really see it. So, anyway, blessings. Hope everybody doing well today. I just thought I'd come on and speak on that. All right, shalom.